moment when it deviated slightly and then everything went off? What would scientists be talking right now? What are they assessing right now in your appreciation?
This is between about 400 meters and slightly below. It went down 400 meters. It's supposed to have stopped at 400 meters for 12 seconds for data collection. Now, I think, though it did show it has gone down, I think that is the time it stopped. And then there was no signal which was coming back. So they do not know what happened. If you see that blip has stopped over there. Now,
stay with me for a moment. I also want to cut across to Raj Chingappa, who's standing by at ISRO. Raj, still too soon to say what happened, Raj?
Yeah, but from the faces of the scientists and the fact that the chairman briefed the Prime Minister, things have, there's something serious that has happened. Now, as the professor said, they could have lost communication because after that, there's been no signal from there. But, I kept mentioning, Gaurav, that the final phase, the fine braking phase and below is the most critical phase, because you have decelerated the entire spacecraft. It came to a particular altitude of 400 meters. That was supposed to be the hovering phase, where the lander was supposed to sense the terrain. It would decide whether the angle of descent was right, whether the incline was right. It would search for space and then come down. At that particular phase, you saw a slight deviation even in the charts that they put up. The green suddenly went away from the proposed trajectory. But that's quite normal, because it could have also decided that it didn't want to land at that place because there's some problems that were there. But clearly there's a communication breakdown that's there. And at that particular stage, there was another very important event to happen, which had never been tested before, because the fifth engine was to come on. Now, we don't know what is the problem that occurred, whether it is just a communication failure and they would be able to, to reboot the entire system from here and hope for the best, or whether they've completely lost the spacecraft at the moment. But, Gaurav, as I said earlier, this is a serious business. This is not easy. Space is not easy on anyone. Just to sort of, not to say that this mission has gone into jeopardy, but I was studying the earlier missions that America and then Soviet Union did.
Yes.
And if you see, Soviet Union tried 18 such missions, and only out of them 3 succeeded. I think we're getting some motion now, and hopefully we would get some answers from that. And hopefully it isn't as serious as is being looked upon. But the faces of the scientists don't indicate that things are going too well.
They do look a little nervous, Dr. Ghosh.
If it is a breakdown of communication only,
yes,
then the lander would have landed, and 15 minutes after that, it will send a photograph. It will send a photograph. So those 15 minutes again are crucial. Now, I'm just hoping against hope and praying that it has actually landed on its own, and probably it's a problem of communication.
I sincerely hope so. I sincerely hope it has landed. We are still waiting for an official word. Dr. Sivan did brief Prime Minister Narendra Modi a short while back, and after that the Prime Minister climbed down those stairs. But now all eyes, Shiv, all eyes on those 5 giant screens at that mission control center. All these young kids also anxiously waiting, Shiv, to hear from the Indian Space Research Organization, Shiv.
Gaurav, they say it isn't over until it's over, so we're waiting for a final update from ISRO. But the body language does tell a story. As Raj just said, it is quite clear that something quite serious has happened. It was writ large on K. Sivan's face when he briefed the Prime Minister, after which the Prime Minister actually left the viewing gallery. I don't want to read too much into that, but on social media, there are many experts who've been using open source equipment as well as telescopes to actually have a look at what may have happened. They've been looking at the telemetry data that the ISRO has been putting out, and many experts have concluded that there has been an accident and that the final phase did not actually go successfully. We will, of course, wait for a final update from the ISRO itself. The Prime Minister is still at ISRO, Gaurav. He did leave the viewing gallery after he was briefed by the ISRO chief, but he hasn't